Welcome back to the Artist Talk with yours truly, the artist Oliver James, where I talk about everything involving my art. And I tell you guys about the secret symbols and hidden messages in my art and explain the history behind why I painted what I painted. And today we're going to talk about the second painting in the US dollar series, the $5 bill. And it is a portrait of, I'm going to be honest, I don't know who this is of because it said unidentified under her name. And do I think that she's unidentified? No. I think the people who probably took a picture of her didn't care enough to jot down her name. And as of today, I cannot find any information about her on the internet. So if you do know, drop the information down in the comment section, please. I'd greatly appreciate it. But I did want her to represent missing and murdered Indigenous women. And I felt that that was important because it is an intricate part of history when we talk about the building of this nation and how it came to be. Missing and murdered Indigenous women is a grassroots movement and crisis policy that is meant to address the high rates of Indigenous women and children going missing. It's estimated that the rate at which Indigenous women and children, specifically little girls, go missing is 10 times higher than the nation's average. And that's crazy because 4 out of 5 Indigenous women at some point in their lifetime are likely to experience some form of violence. And to add insult to injury, the cause of death amongst Indigenous women and little girls is homicide. And we need to talk about it. And when we see in the news, or we don't see in the news and we don't hear about it, we need to know that it's happening. Again, it is an important part of history that we need to keep talking about because in the inception of this land, Indigenous men and women were murdered and genocided. And it never stopped, quite honestly. And in my paintings, when I said that there were hidden messages or historical facts, I meant that. This right here is meant to replace the number in the US dollar bill, and I put in a 50 million D, and that stands for Native American 50 million dead. 50 million Indigenous people across the transatlantic slave trade routes from Caribbean islands to the Americas were wiped out to create the slave trade. And if we don't have that conversation, we're missing a part of history. And so I wanted to be able to speak to that. As you can tell, I still have this painting available for purchase on my website. And I also have prints available, which a portion of the proceeds are donated to Indigenous organizations to fight for the land back movement and the grassroots movement of the missing and murdered Indigenous women. And so I wanted to just say thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.